Hello, my name is Adam Administrator, and I'm here to discuss with you some of the updates to the Common Core. We renamed it the Commoner Core. There are many major changes, so it's important for educators like you to know what's coming. First off, we've changed the math to be moving away from correct answers to just understanding the concepts. Each math problem will now be broken down flowchart, which will be in the style of either Michelangelo or Andy Warhol. Any problem that cannot be broken down into a flowchart, whether it is a word problem, must be answered with a 5-paragraph essay in the MLA format. In order to further the conceptual, almost philosophical understanding of math, all math teachers at elementary school levels have been replaced with the Greek philosopher Plato.
Class, I want you to think for a second. How does the number 5 make you feel?
Now this math answer here shows just how much our education system has failed us, because this is an obvious fail. There's no work shown at all. And we don't really even know the answer or the verification of the answer, which it's probably wrong. So because of that, we have to introduce a new Common Core way of doing things to ensure that kids are getting the concept. So this new process we see here is just simply beautiful and does everything that it needs to do correctly. For example, first we start off with the first line of 12 plus 3 equals 15. This obviously sets up the recourse to make sure that it understands perpetuities that this problem is proposing to the viewer or to the student. Now the last line is where it gets a little tricky because you have to add a two-digit number with a single-digit number. But once again, we see that obviously equals to 32, and we have the 2 equating with a shape or letter X. Now this is to familiarize the user and the student with the letter or shape X, which they'll grow to hate when they decide to pursue further forms of math education, such as algebra, trigonometry, calculus, multivariable calculus, linear algebra, and perhaps if they're feeling very, very ambitious or crazy, old math. Then you just fire it all in there, you get the shapes, subtract the shapes from each other, and you get the answer of 20. Obviously, this 20 is correct, whereas the previous 20 is clearly wrong.
Testing is very important to those of us at the Commoner Core. So much, in fact, that we've integrated it into every part of learning. Now, English essays will no longer actually be written in English, but rather in Scantron.
Alright class, your Toyota essays are due soon. Please remember that only 5 letters are allowed. A, B, C, D, and sometimes E.
The art program has been entirely cut because there's no way to adequately measure artistic ability via a Scantron test. Memorization classes such as APEL, however, are still allowed. Scantron-based tests are now used to determine everything from a teacher's pay to whether or not they get a chair. And how many children they can have. Or even whether or not they get health insurance. The Commoner Core even helps to save electricity. It has introduced a new, revolutionary, brain-based learning system, which we believe is the best way to educate our children. Billy, stop it! Just because your dad's test scores weren't high enough for him to be able to keep you doesn't mean that you're allowed to interrupt you. Cut the feed!